You know, we can't move past The Last Jedi. Nobody's allowed to move past The Last Jedi. And just when you think Lucasfilm is like, hey, let's forget The Last Jedi ever happened, Rian Johnson inserts himself into every conversation.
He does.
About Star Wars.
Even if it's not about him, he finds a way to make it about him.
The last couple of weeks have been insane. It's almost like Rian Johnson is jumping up and down for attention when Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to just like step over him and The Last Jedi and the whole debacle. He keeps bringing himself up and connecting himself with Star Wars. So we're going to talk about that in this special episode of Clownfish TV. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We hit 57,000.
We're almost 58
subs. We want to hit 100,000. It helps the channel tremendously if you subscribe. You don't realize how much it actually helps us. So please do that. And thank you.
I was say thank you to everybody who has.
Thank you to everybody who has. So let's talk about...
why is this a special episode?
Because it's all about Rian Johnson.
Oh.
And he's special because his mom told him he's special.
Okay. Well, I don't know if his mom told him that, but okay.
Might have. I don't know. Star Wars. This comes from Digital Spy. Star Wars The Last Jedi director confirms status of his... He confirms it. He confirms it. So far, we haven't heard Lucasfilm, I don't think, confirm it.
I don't know.
Rian Johnson is convinced he's still doing a Star Wars trilogy.
Well, maybe he is.
What's going on with Rian Johnson's movies? Can't talk about The Rise of Skywalker without talking about Rian Johnson. Love it or loathe it, The Last Jedi was a huge success.
What I think is funny is now they're saying love it or loathe it, love it or hate it, and now they're acknowledging that people hated it. Before it was, everybody loves it. It's only a couple people who don't like it, and they went from that to now they admit that a lot of people don't like it. So,
in fact, Disney liked it so much the studio prematurely announced shortly afterwards that the director Rian Johnson would be directing an entire trilogy of spin-off movies. But then Solo opened to disappointing box office. A disappointing box office, and the House of Mouse set was putting the Star Wars series on a bit of a hiatus earlier this year. Does that mean Johnson's series has been thrown on the scrap heap too?
Disney's smart.
Thankfully not, as confirmed by Deadline, as part of a profile on Johnson and professional partner Ram Bergman's film company T Street. In the profile, Deadline spoke to Johnson and Bergman. It sounds like a proctology office.
I think it sounds like a lawyer, but go ahead.
Johnson and Bergman, assholes are us, about some of their upcoming projects. And while there was no quote offered on the new Star Wars trilogy, it was confirmed that the plans are still on the board by Johnson, not by Disney. Nobody at Disney or Lucasfilm has confirmed this. In fact, I think they're kind of skirting the issue because they know how divisive it is. I think they're waiting to see how The Rise of Skywalker does. Johnson did reflect on his approach to work on his hopes for a T Street more generally, saying, though, I'm excited to open things up and get the chance to work with talented people and learn from them.
We need to learn a lot.
Mark Hamill tried to school you on Luke Skywalker, and you didn't listen to him, did you, Ryan? You didn't listen. See how sad you made Mark? In a way, this is very much the mode how we've always worked. Star Wars is different, but we've always thought like indie filmmakers.
You can't think like indie filmmakers when it comes to Star Wars.
Maintaining a degree of ownership and authorship over what we've done.
Yeah, you better own it because it's no one else wants to own it.
Nobody else wants to own it. This is a way to set up a space where we can make it happen for other filmmakers. This is the problem with The Last Jedi fundamentally it was approached very much like an indie movie, like his own personal...
But you can't do that with a franchise like Star Wars.
No.
You cannot.
No.
I mean, clearly this guy has, he just thinks that he is, on another level from everybody else and he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's Rian Johnson.
He's Abed from Community. He doesn't understand what the hell he's actually doing. He just, go
outside and pray for God to take it away.
Take it away. Talking about his plans for his trilogy earlier this year, the director teased his films will be the next step of the franchise.
That moves action away from the legacy characters. No, trust me, you've already done plenty to move it away from the legacy characters.
No, I think Disney, by the time this is ready to shoot, if it ever happens, Iger will be out the door, and I think his successor will have
a mess
to clean up, and I think they're going to be like, let's make the most profitable Star Wars movies we can make and get people back on board. And you know what? Rian Johnson is not a name that a lot of Star Wars fans want to hear attached to another Star Wars project.
I don't know what they could do, honestly, that would be profit from Star Wars, because the main characters are just moving out of. So what else could you do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And there isn't much buzz about the Rise of Skywalker. There really isn't. I think that the fun and challenging part is to dive in, figure out what's exciting, and then figure out what it's going to be. Yeah, how come you didn't do that?
Wait. The fun thing is to go dive in and find out what's exciting and figure out what it's and then figure out what it's going to be. Wait, you didn't know what was exciting? You didn't have to figure out what it was going to be. It already was.
We're doing something that steps beyond the legacy characters. You already did that in the last movie. You inserted a bunch of OCs, fanfic characters into a movie when you didn't even flesh out the characters that were introduced in the movie directly before it.
And then they had these characters with no, they just showed up, and everybody's supposed to just love them automatically because he says so. There's no reason they're not very much in the movie. I mean, yeah, Rose and Holdo are in it, but they aren't in it a lot, honestly. And everybody's supposed to just take from that they are strong female characters that you must love. Because you said so. Because
Rian Johnson said so. He also said he won't let the fan criticism of The Last Jedi affect his plans.
Oh, I doubt you will. I'm sure, honestly, you'll probably deliberately be shittier because you just want to be like, ha, I win, kind of like that. People like Rian Johnson, who has no respect, clearly, for the source and for the actors from the source material, really should not be in charge of a series.
God, so we did that video yesterday on Mark Hamill, kind of throwing
shade. Well, you did it. I didn't get to go.
Yeah, well, he has been letting it slip here and there. I cannot wait until...
There's several actors who say they have things to say.
Yeah, even Boyega. John Boyega. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait until after the Rise of Skywalker, when these guys have nothing left to lose and they're probably never going to do Star Wars again, to just be like, yeah, let me tell you about the shit show behind the scenes.
I'm still mad because I really liked Finn and I really liked Poe and I wanted more from both of them than what we got. I was really upset by that. Instead, we got Rose and Holdo. I wanted Leia. I wanted Finn. I even wanted Rey to be better than she was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rey had... Look.
I wanted Luke to train Rey so I could actually like Rey. And that's not what they did.
All those characters had potential, and it was flushed away. Instead of fleshing out the characters that were introduced in The Force Awakens, characters that had potential.
But you can add characters, that's okay, but not the way they did it.
He added like twice as many characters that were just cardboard cutouts, and then most of them, died or got shunted off.
Now Rose, I can understand. I mean, to me, she's like Lando. He comes into the Empire, but he's in Jedi. He's still important. Yeah. But you learn, so that I can see. But Holdo.
She shows up and dies.
Pretty much. Shows up, tells him, Poe where he can go, and just puts him in his place because he needs to not be a hothead, which he wasn't before and suddenly is. Listen to authority figures like her, and then
dies.
But in a way that was supposed to make her the most memorable, glorious figure ever when she just effing showed up.
And Akbar dies off screen. I mean, just...
Yeah, meanwhile, Akbar dies off screen. Yes. And that they don't understand what's wrong with this. And here's the thing, you can confirm this. I didn't like the Force Awakens that much. To me, it just felt like a rehash. But I was more than willing to go in to see The Last Jedi. I was excited about it. I was like, okay, finally, maybe, if he's going to train Rey, maybe I'll like Rey now. Maybe she'll be so Mary Sue. They'll answer some questions. We get to find out what's going on with Snoke. There's going to be all this cool stuff. And within the first 2 or 3 minutes, I looked at you and I was like, with the, prank phone call thing, I was like, ah. And then when I saw the milk thing, I was just like, I can't. This is going to hurt. And, I was going into it happy, excited, going to totally give it a chance. 200% on board with giving it a chance. And now I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. Sorry, Mom. Screw it, I don't care.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't care. Judging by the numbers on the trailer for the Rise of Skywalker, it just doesn't look like it's really catching fire.
Why they behave, too, when people didn't like it, I think turned a lot of people off even further.
So they're writing all kinds of articles now. Again, this is all coming from Rian Johnson. So far, the only confirmation we have that this is even happening is Rian Johnson. You have to believe Rian Johnson, or Rian Johnson believes that he's got the trilogy in the works.
Well, I thought I said that Rian Johnson said before he did. Then they said Disney said he didn't. And then I was saying, he's saying he does.
He's just like, I feel like, look, there being an effort to shift the focus from the marketing perspective to take the focus off of The Last Jedi and everything that happened in The Last Jedi and try to put it back on the original trilogy to try to get people excited about Star Wars again. Here comes Rian Johnson. Don't forget about me. I'm here too.
You see him in the background, like trying to stick his head in the spotlight and jump up and down, like, here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am. Someone get a whack-a-mole stick.
Disney's going to have to, if this is not going to... I can tell you right now, I don't think any of this stuff is confirmed yet. They don't even know if the Game of Thrones guys are actually going to get their trilogy because they dropped the ball so spectacularly on the Game of Thrones. There's a lot of negative fan feelings about it.
But why would you give Rian Johnson one if you're going to give the Game of Thrones guys one?
Right. So, and plus they just signed that huge deal with Netflix too. So they might be tied up. All of this is up in the air. Star Wars is up in the air. I think Disney is sitting back. They already greenlit, a couple of a series for Disney Plus.
A couple of them sound good though.
Yeah, Obi-Wan I'm actually cautiously optimistic about. Mandalorian I'll give a shot. But as far as the movies are concerned, they're going to wait until after the Rise of Skywalker and see where they're at. This is just all tentative. And again, if Rian Johnson's trilogy was a done deal, they would have announced it at D23. They would have announced it at Celebration. They don't know what they're going to do after this movie. Right now,
Disney's trying to scramble us to figure out how to get people to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, they can't get people to Galaxy's Edge. Announcing that Rian Johnson's going to be put in charge of a trilogy when he is the most divisive person in Star Wars history. Okay, even more so than Jar Jar Binks. Rian Johnson's the most divisive person in Star Wars history. Not a smart move by Disney. If they're trying to get the old school fans back on board, not smart at all. Let him go do his indie movies. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do in his own stuff. He did like a Clue knockoff looking movie, whatever. Maybe that's good. Let him do that. Keep him away from established franchises. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you're right. He's best when he's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
He's not good at this. I'm sorry, Ryan. I don't mean any offense to you. Well, yeah, I mean some offense to you. But only because I'm giving it back to you how you offended other people. But when you're doing your own stuff, it's cool. It's not too terrible. But you cannot treat franchises in the same way you treat your indie stuff. It just doesn't work. You cannot do it.
And I mean, it is true that Star Wars at one point was uncharted territory. It was basically an indie film.
It was originally.
But now there are certain expectations. And even then, the original Star Wars went through so many drafts and so much refinement, but there is, they've kind of gotten to a groove. This is what the fans expect from a Star Wars movie. And especially with a character that's an icon like Luke Skywalker, just completely
you cannot do what you did.
Pissing on Luke Skywalker just to prove how edgy you were. Didn't work. He can go do his indie movies. Let him go do some indie movies. Let him go do some Netflix, direct to Netflix stuff.
And you can't make everybody happy all the time, which is completely true. But when most of the people aren't happy, no matter how much they try to spin that, everybody loves it. No, if everybody liked it so much, it did really well in the theater. Yeah, because everybody went and saw it before they knew it was bad. It dropped off a cliff after the word got out. And then everybody didn't go see Solo because they're like, well, if it's as bad as Last Jedi, don't care.
Yeah.
And now Disney at first was like, oh, it's so good. But now they're learning that, oh no, it was a problem. And it's like, when you're taking off more than you like it, you got a problem, dude.
Yeah. And we're seeing it. I mean, again, just Star Wars in general. Merchandise isn't selling. Nobody's going to Galaxy's Edge. There are multiple news outlets saying that Star Wars is the biggest blunder right now, that Disney has dropped the ball with Star Wars. Solo failed primarily because of The Last Jedi. I'm sorry. Solo paid for the bad will that was. I mean, that should have been a slam dunk. Solo should have been a slam dunk. A movie featuring a young Han Solo, familiar elements, origin of Han and Chewie and the Falcon and all the stuff that the fans, that should have been a slam dunk. People should have been excited about that movie.
Well, I think if they're not, though, also because it wasn't Harrison Ford.
Well,
But I am happy because they were going to do Obi-Wan, they canceled it, and now they're bringing it to Disney Plus because Obi-Wan was supposed to be happening because of Solo. So I'm glad that we still get that because a lot of people were like, I really want to see Obi-Wan movie because we still have Ewan McGregor to do it. So that's going to be awesome. But
hopefully, but no, it seems like the future of Star Wars right now is the small screen. There have been no major announcements of trilogy. I mean, it's everything's very tentative.
They said they're going to do more movies, but they're not even announcing anything after this comes out.
I think they're going to wait till.
I'm sorry, the
Rise of Skywalker. I think they're going to wait to see what happens with Rise of Skywalker. They're going to wait to see what happens with Galaxy's Edge long term, and they're going to wait to see how these series do on Disney Plus. Because if you can't get people, the future of Star Wars, to be honest, Star Wars might be in such a place right now that it's basically become Star Trek. And the future is probably going to be direct to TV.
I was going to say, what Disney's going to look at is, well, we can do a Disney Plus show, so it's a hell of a lot cheaper. We're making more money on it than the movies. Do you think they're going to, and they can still sell toys and stuff? Do you think they're going to keep doing movies?
Yeah.
They're not. They're just going to put everything on Disney Plus where they can control more, keep it cheaper, and, you know, sell toys for it.
Yeah, because they can do like, I mean, the technology has gotten to the point now where they can do Star Wars on the small screen. Before, the problem was they really didn't have the technology to do it, and you can see already in some of the movies that they're reusing a lot of assets. I'm seeing a lot of the alien masks being reused. I'm seeing a lot of props being reused. And they're just going to build this archive of, like, here's all of our Star Wars costumes. Kind of like they did with Star Trek back in the 90s, where we're using a lot of the costumes from Next Generation on Deep Space Nine and on Voyager. And it cuts costs, you know. And, yeah, I just... Dream on, Tiny Tim. You know, it's like,
you want to do a leprechaun.
I don't think it's gonna happen, dude. I don't think it's gonna happen. But good for you for being optimistic. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe the last. I almost said the last Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker will be this phenomenal runaway $3 billion movie.
Well, it might, but that doesn't mean that people are actually there.
Yeah, it'll make billions. I say 3 million. No, $3 billion. I'm like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, 3 billion.
3 billion. Yeah, if it
only
makes
Disney's financials come out. We're 1.5 billion in the hole. We don't know why.
let's put an extra 0 on this movie
with a Sharpie.
With a Sharpie.
I couldn't resist.
Put a little 0 on this on the books. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. You know, whatever. So, all right, we're going to wrap this one up. I don't think his trilogy is going to happen. Then maybe they'll give him a TV show or something.
I can see a TV show.
Yeah,
his trilogy will probably go to TV. We're going to move Star Wars to Disney Plus, and he can do that. That's probably what they'll do.
We'll give him an episode, guest episode, a filler episode of one of the other shows.
We'll try him out a couple, then see how it goes.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.